Welcome back to the channel. We're going to try something slightly different today. Usually we have our podcasts, which you've been following us on. We're now going to do some videos and we're going to go and see some of our customers. So today we're here at Sytronix, who are one of our partners who work with Micron. And today we're going to go and have a look around, see what these guys are doing and show you what great things happen at a server builder.
Sam?
Morning James, how are you?
Not bad at all.
Good to see you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no worries.
Bit of a chilly one today.
It is, it's very cold, yeah. Do you want to have a gander up?
Yeah, let's go and have a look. Let's go and have a look.
I'll show you around the place. Welcome to Sytronix. So this is the brains of the operation. You've been immediately mugged by our Chief Morale Officer.
Chief Morale Officer.
So this is Jason, our operations manager.
Hey Jason, you right?
Yeah, good to meet you, man. You okay?
You good? Yeah, good.
And our media. Oh dear. Introduce yourself, Rob.
Hey Rob, how you going, Sam? Nice to meet you. And you are Ozzy.
Keeps everybody happy in the office, does Ozzy?
Yeah. Chief Morale Officer, important role.
Yeah, and Alex is in the other room over there. So this is where we normally have meetings with our customers. We do a lot of the design work over on this side. So like this is one of the servers we're currently working on designing at the moment. So a lot of the admin stuff and design stuff's done in this room. We do a lot of the manufacturing downstairs, and a lot of the sort of business meetings and stuff we do in the office over there.
Cool. So this is like the engine room, the brains.
Yeah. This is the brains of the operation, really.
Cool. Brilliant. Alex.
How you doing?
How are you? All right?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
Good.
You all right?
Good. Yeah. What time do you call this?
My time. My time. Early time. I'm a busy man.
How are you doing now? You okay?
Very good, thank you. Very good. Good trip down.
Good. Up.
Up rather.
Yeah,
Up.
yeah. No, it was all right. I came really late last night, so it was nice and easy.
Good.
Nice and easy.
Good.
Yeah, so we're working on a few storage servers at the moment, and we're just trying to, at the moment, the just task that we've got on at the moment is we're just modelling up to check that this IC dock drive bay here will fit the Micron drives that we've been getting from you guys.
Yeah, so they're the 30 terabyte U.2s.
Yeah. So effectively, we're trying to design a server at the moment where. This is sort of the design, if you want to have a look at that.
Yeah.
So we're running 3 IC dock drive bays in there using MCIO cables to connect up to the motherboard. And effectively we're just modelling this up now at the moment just to check that all these drives that we use all fit into the design, and this will either be a storage server and there'll be another variant of it which will be a render server that can also act as a NAS as well. So there's a few different designs on that, and we're obviously we're checking out with all the different drives and working with IC dock on that as well as yourselves.
Yeah. So are these bespoke designs that you guys are designing?
Yeah. So these are bespoke designs for our own products, and effectively we're in the process of designing about 10 different types of chassis. So this is like the fan array that would cool the servers down.
Yeah.
And this is sort of the part that IC dock would provide. So we just run our cables in here, and then we can run 8 disk drives off that.
And then you build the chassis, you design and build the chassis yourselves.
We manufacture the chassis next door at the sheet metal company, so we can do rapid prototyping. And
we'll literally on the same site.
Yeah, on the same site. So yeah, and we'll even design servers for other companies at times. So it just depends on what the work is. There's other design work here, like for example, this is like a data center that we've designed recently, and we've sort of built a lot of the infrastructure for that as well. So we do a wide variety of different things. So this is a Pro 6000 5U server that we're working on, and that has the U.2 drive bays and a network card in the back on that as well as 4 CRTS power packs, and this component here. So we would fit a few drives in here.
So this is one of your bespoke.
Yeah, so this
trays.
is this component on that, and that's basically for building high performance sort of 8 card Pro 6000 systems. We can actually fit 16 cards in that system as well, so it's a relatively unique design, and effectively the idea is to build one of the quicker GPU servers out there, and effectively that's the sort of job that we're working on at the moment. A lot of this stuff is bespoke, like for example the power circuit boards in there. We do get those manufactured in Hungary for us, but a lot of this stuff sort of designed in-house. We design a lot of other components like the EV risers and stuff like that. So
yeah. So no, I love that. I love that so much of it is designed in-house and is bespoke, and it's great that you've got a metal fabricator around the corner.
Yeah,
that's so convenient, but it's also like local UK business that you're using. So
yeah,
no, that's really good.
It supports a lot of local jobs and stuff as well. So
that's great.
Yeah, we've took a different approach than a lot of other companies. We've decided to manufacture a lot of things in Europe, or even manufacture stuff just in-house or locally. But obviously we still liaise with companies around the world, and we do a lot of work with companies in Taiwan as well, and in the United States. Our electronics engineers in Germany, and we manufacture a lot of these circuit boards in Hungary. But a lot of the other stuff here is manufactured in the UK, particularly all the sheet metal work and cabinets, and a lot of the stuff that we deal to do with infrastructure in the UK, to do with like designing full data centres and things like that. All of that sort of designed in-house here, and we do offer a full design service, and that extends to other IT companies as well as customers that are building sort of large-scale data centres in the UK and stuff.
Great, that's brilliant. Well, thanks for showing us.
This particular design here is one that we're working on at the moment, yeah. But we do make some basic prototype stuff just to check things fit, and then we can check the configuration as well. So we build a really cheap version of a case that basically just fits a lot of this kit in first, so that we can check the configuration in the hardware, check that it works with the motherboard, check that there's no issues with that, and then we'll go out and build a full design like this, and that's what we'll sell to the customer. So the stuff that you see in the other room is just prototype stuff that's not something that we sell to customers.
Right, okay.
But it allows us to check configurations and check that things work before we actually put that on sale, so that everything's tested and burned in and stuff. And then when we do actually come to design a chassis like this and build it out and put it on open sale, everything's been tested from an electronics point of view, from a software point of view. Then we go into the chassis side of it. That'll be tested for its cooling capabilities and various other things, and then from there that will then go and be rolled out as a full product that's sold to customers then.
Sounds good. Should we go and have a look at what you've got in there then, and you show us what you do?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So this is one of the prototypes that we use to test a render server. Yeah. So this here really is so that we can test. We have multiple of these bays that go in here, and we can run a 400 gig network card on each one of these.
Right.
As well as running 4 U.2 drives, unless they're the 15mm, and then we can only run 3 of them, which would mean 9 or 12 drives in that system.
Yeah.
There's a 2-way power board on there where we can handle 3000 watts per power pack, so this would be a 3000 watt 1U solution. Effectively this could be used for like HPC workloads where we need really high network bandwidth. We could also run a few other bits of kit in there that are PCI Express stuff, and then quite a large amount of drives, and this is where we'd mount 2 water coolers for that motherboard.
Right.
And we also have an Epic Turing motherboard that actually fits in there as well, and a slightly different front on for other different designs, but this is something that we test things out on first. We can test in our data center, which we'll show you downstairs, and then the CAD design that we were showing you there, where we're using sort of the IC dock drive bays and working with other companies on stuff like that. That'll then, once we've tested that the electronics work, tested that the software works with the configuration that we've got, we'll then go into a full design like that and manufacture a much more high quality case, and that's what will then go out to the customers.
Right.
And effectively we're always in a state of continuous improvement, so these are like different sorts of drive bays that we've developed just to check things fit and stuff,
yeah.
and for different things, so we can try different size cards and different size drives and stuff.
Yeah. They're good though. I love the way you have the branding.
Yeah, even on the prototypes we put the branding on there, yeah, so and that's the basic gist of how we're doing a lot of the prototyping as far as the software and just checking that configurations work, yeah. And then obviously we'll release a much more high quality product. So a good example of this is that if you look inside this chassis here, you'll see that the risers actually screw down in here.
Yeah.
We have extra mounting points here where we can run our PLX switches. But in full production, we actually use this one, which has different mounting points here, and this is so that the customers can rapidly repair things. So these actually clip on, yeah, and this makes it much quicker.
Wow.
to do a repair,
yeah.
in situ. So what we test with in here is this, because we can fit all of our different components in there, but what we sell to the customer is something that's much more practical.
Yeah.
And that we have that design philosophy right the way through. And the other thing is...
And sorry, is that unique to you? Is that something that you guys have come up with and designed, or is that?
Yeah, we looked at the market, and we looked at, say, other companies where they'd sell a whole daughter board. If anything broke, say one slot on that whole daughter board, you'd have to replace the whole daughter board. So what we decided to do is make these as lots of separate daughter boards,
yeah,
which are cheaper, and then you can basically, if one breaks, it's much cheaper, right? Rather than replacing an entire board, yeah, we can just replace one of these,
yeah,
which makes the system more reliable and much cheaper to actually produce or repair in actual situ if that's in an actual data center. Replacing something like that by just plugging 3 cables in and clipping it down is a very easy repair for a customer, sure, and also much cheaper than buying a much bigger daughter board. So we really customer focused in reducing how much it costs if there is actually a repair in the field, and the speed to get that repaired as well as the fact that here we actually over-spec a lot of these components as well, yeah. So like the standard PCI Express power delivery is only 75 watts. We'll actually deliver 150 watts through these cards, so the reliability on them is higher than what you would get with some of the other bigger companies.
So the risers they're a bespoke design of yours as well?
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, obviously this is why we've sort of branded those up. And yeah, effectively a lot of the boards that we produce are sort of branded as our own and designed as our own, but we do design work on the electronics for other IT hardware companies as well. So if other companies needed a design, we can actually design the server and design the components inside the server for them as well.
It's just really interesting that you kind of focus on the practicality for the customer to make it easier for those, like you said, in those circumstances, so they're getting the power and they're getting the performance, but they've also got the practicality of if something does go wrong, they've kind of it's been proved.
Yeah. So also good redundancy as well.
So it's great.
Yeah. But we're testing a lot of different configurations. Like this is an NVIDIA Pro 6000.
Yeah.
That's a workstation edition, so that would go in like a PC workstation that may go into a CDI render farm. This one is one that we're working on with AMD at the moment. So they sent us this card actually as a sample, but we'll be building a 16 card one of these systems in this chassis. And effectively we'll run 16 cards on the dual epic there and check what the performance is on that, and that'll go as a full product that's up for sale.
Brilliant, that sounds great.
Well, so now I've shown you that, I'll take you down to the manufacturing area, or what we call it is the nerd dungeon.
The nerd dungeon,
there's
love
there's a lot of research and development done down there, a lot of continuous improvement. I'll sort of explain a little bit about why we actually switched to this design here and the reasons behind it.
Great.
And we can show you how we manufacture stuff, show you a little bit about how we do some of the R&D downstairs as well, and we also run a little bit of a data center as well down there.
To the nerd dungeon.
Yeah. So this is the nerd dungeon, so to speak. We do a lot of design work. We test a lot of equipment in the data center here. So a lot of the new designs that we're working on, we actually have in test down here. We've got a couple of machines down there that are in test. When we're working in a purely test scenario, just testing the electronics and just testing that the hardware's working and stuff, we'll actually build in these sort of mining frames. It's dead easy to get at the cables.
Yep.
We can change things about very quickly, and we'll sort of operate in that kind of scenario. But obviously that's not something that we sell to customers. It's just something that we use just to do research and development.
Just makes it easier. What do you call those?
So, well, these are just mining frames.
Mining
frames.
frames.
This would be how somebody would normally build like a crypto mining machine.
Yeah.
But if you're crypto mining, normally you're not going to run a dual epic system with a crypto miner. So these are purely for R&D, and we just test and make sure that
it just makes it easier to access rather than having them in racks, right?
Yeah. We can easily unplug things. We can get at every single component, and it just makes the whole servicing of things and changing things around a lot easier. So that's kind of why we do that. But obviously then it then progresses on to actually running in proper rack mount solutions. So some of the systems that you can see like this here, we actually got running down here, and these are just testing now. So the customer's actually testing on that machine right now.
Right.
And obviously this is a hot and cold corridor setup. We chuck the hot air into the hot corridor, and that's ejected out of the building. This room in here is air conditioned and stuff, so we can run them in a similar environment to what they're going to run in an actual data center. So that's something that we would sell to a customer. This is something we sort of test on.
I've got it, right.
When we come through here, this is sort of one of the manufacturing bays here. You can grab one of these chassis and we can show you a few things about this. So to speed up the process of manufacture, we would, if we have an empty chassis on here, we can put one of these on. So a lot of the chassis are quite similar in size, that's why we've marked out on the desk. And then we can push this, and this allows us to sort of rotate the cases. And that allows us to work on the stuff. The staff can work on it without lifting very heavy servers up and stuff like that. And we basically.
So that just slots on a column there, and
yeah. So it's on a rotating table. So when when this stuff's not on the desk, these things fully rotate, and it allows the staff to actually work on these without actually having to handball all the heavy weight and stuff. And
that's brilliant.
makes it a lot easier for the staff to actually work on the systems while we're doing that. And obviously this just drops down afterwards when we're finished, and you don't want it rotating and
Brilliant.
stuff. Then everybody's got their own network connections on here and plenty of power and monitors set up so that we can just test and do whatever we need to do. We've expanded this as a whole manufacturing area, so there's multiple of these bays for building servers in. And effectively this is where we actually do the manufacturing, so we do a lot of R&D and stuff in there, and manufacturing here, and then a lot of continuous improvement comes into it. So if you take the caddies that we were showing you earlier, like these, sort of a continuous improvement thing that we went down on here was the fact that the staff were telling us it was taking like half an hour to put all the screws in for all of the different circuit boards that we had. So we replaced with these clips so that they can clip into place, and that reduced the cost of manufacture and the amount of time it takes to actually manufacture a server by allowing things to clip in rather than screwing in. And then we added these metal plates which basically separates the airflow for each individual graphics card and allows the graphics cards to run a lot cooler in the system as well, which allows for better performance and just general better reliability on the server as well. And these are also removable, so that you can remove the whole graphics card caddy and effectively get the kit underneath it without having to dismantle all the graphics cards and pull lots of things out to get at power boards underneath it.
Quick release kind of thing.
So you can just release 4 screws on here and just lift the whole thing out and get at the kit underneath, and that allows for easier servicing as well.
So a lot of these improvements have come from issues or problems or complaints from the guys that are down here, and you've come up with an idea to make it easier and faster. Yeah,
it's listening to the staff. I mean, at the end of the day, the staff are manufacturing these things, and a lot of the things that would happen in a data center when someone's servicing a server are the same things that our staff will come across when they're actually manufacturing a server. So if the staff turn around to us and say it's taking too long to do this, or if there's something not quite right about it, people are cutting their hands on metal components, they're doing things like that, we'll change the design to make it easier, more reliable, or cheaper to manufacture, or whatever. And the main design philosophy behind it is if it reduces the cost of manufacture and makes the product, increases the quality on the product every single time, we will do it. We'll change the design and make the design better. If it only meets one of those criteria, we'll have an in-house discussion on whether we should do that particular thing, and if it meets neither of those criteria, we never ever implement that. So it's always around improving quality and reducing the cost of manufacture, which are both things that benefit the customer at the end of the day. So it's very customer focused.
Excellent.
Now I've shown you the manufacturing process. We'll have a wander upstairs. We'll go and meet Alex, who's our commercial director. He's sort of our head of sales, and he deals with a lot of different things in the company. But he'll walk you through what the vision is for the future, on what we plan on doing in the future, a little bit about what we're doing with the customers, and how that integrates into what we're actually doing down here, and with the design stuff as well. Because a lot of the time the design, the manufacturing, all that lot's led by sales, really. It's led by the customers, so Alex can give you a good overview on how that works.
Let's go and see Alex then. Alex, in that respect, hello. Yes. Do you want to take us through where you guys are going, take us through your message, take us
sure.
through what the future looks like?
Head that way in there, and I'll take you through it all,
Good.
What would you like to do? Stand or sit?
Whatever you want. Do you want to just...
Yeah. Oh, I'll stand, don't worry, it's fine. So in terms of obviously what we're trying to achieve, I think there's a big market out there for chassis like this, as obviously James has taken you through. a lot of the companies, as obviously like who Sims work with, and you see a lot with Asus and Gigabyte and Supermicro, they're the big players in terms of within the space. And I think one of the biggest things that we're wanting to try and do is remove the reliability that people have for those big names, where the biggest focus becomes on not just having the fastest or the best hardware, the quickest, so to speak, but reducing obviously the capex on data centers, because the big focus will be on ROI within those systems. And because we've built such a modular system where we're able to chop and change and edit the systems so fluidly, it gives clients that option to be able to obviously grow, develop and change. And when we're working with companies like Micron and AMD, we're able to work with them and adapt our systems for that, so that we're always that one step ahead. If you buy a standard system on the market now, you're stuck with that system, and you can't then just change a component, you have to change an entire thing. Well, then that then changes your balance book in terms of your ROI on a system. So
it's about future proofing.
Yeah, of course, yeah, exactly. And that's kind of like the ethos of the business in terms of wanting to future proof the business, and obviously future proof clients' investment within obviously this space, because it's growing rapid, and as we see in the space every day, things change hour by hour. And I think if we're able to sit there and offer a product that's got the ability to grow with that demand, but not put so much pressure on businesses' pockets, then obviously that's better for everyone in terms of more cash in pocket. Means more cash inflow into obviously the business growing forward.
And the kinds of systems that you're being asked for most, or the kind of projects that you're working on currently and kind of into 2026, what do they look like at the moment?
So our core, they always say focus on your strengths, right? And we're not going to try and reinvent the wheel. One of the big things that we set out as a business from the very start was high performance NAS storage servers. Obviously something we work very closely on with Micron with that. But our big thing is within the CGI render space is where we really excel. The amount of world records that we hold for Blender, V-Ray and things like that, I think show credit to obviously where the systems, that it's not so much a hard sell. I always say to clients when they come in, this isn't a sales pitch, it's an education session. And it's not so much selling them a system, it's educating them on how they can maximise what it is they're wanting to do with the product, where we can give them something that isn't for the now, but it will do them for the next 3 to 4 years. And as a business, it's good for them because they can then financially plan and budget that. So, a lot of the projects we're currently working on, we've got some big projects out in Africa for some basically big render farms, is where a lot of the income kind of work comes in from, which is really good. Heavy CPU workload, RAM workload, obviously big storage system, and then it's working with the likes of Micron to optimize those storage systems, where people aren't spending £250,000 on an old school storage system, but we're compacting that in, and we're forever changing the designs on the chassis and designs on what we're doing, where we can maximize storage and have basically an all-in-one. Well, studio in a box is what we go with,
and I guess it's the latest and greatest tech. So
of course,
like the stuff that we work with you on, like the SSDs and the DRAM, you're always going for kind of what's coming out. The latest one, so again you're future proofing and making sure that they've got the most up-to-date versions.
Yeah, exactly that. And and that's, as a business, I think you have to be forward thinking within that. There's no point going backwards, because other companies we're not a huge business in terms of the financial backing that we have, but we still need to be up there with some of the big players, that they're all focused on the AI side of it at the moment. But there is a huge niche for researchers and CGI and render workstation companies that are in the need for some really high speed performance HPC kit, and I think that's where Sytronix fits in quite nicely into its own little niche. A lot of people don't see the tech side, everyone just sees the finished product, and I think a lot of what we do behind the scenes is the important work in it. Like having, I always say to people, James owns the business, but he doesn't run the business. He's a tech guy, he doesn't like sales, he doesn't like doing any of that, and I think that's probably underappreciated in terms of what we do. But I think everything you've covered really in terms of what we do, and I think this time next year it will be probably twice as long, with even more stuff that we've done, that we've worked on over the next 12 months anyway. Well, even in the next 6 months. I think the work that we've got going on at the moment, the technology will change rapidly. I think the designs will change rapidly. Our approach to the industry will change drastically in that respect as well. And I think it's us as a business keeping one step ahead and working with you on that, especially to make that move forward.
James was saying that, you know, I know the demand's great in the design and the systems that you build, but he said you were doing some stuff with data center builds, and you can kind of offer more than just a system.
Yeah. So, you know, we've predominantly built the business is built on partnerships, right? Every business has to be built on partnerships. We don't claim we're a one-man band. I don't have enough people to be able to do that. But one of the big things we do is we have obviously our in-house CAD design team, so we can take a project from start to finish in terms of building out, whether it's modular, whether it's within an existing building as well, and then utilising that space where we can incorporate that into what systems we use, because it comes down to power requirement, cooling, and then workload, and then it's all about optimising that space per square foot basically, so that obviously the client can maximise return without having to spend an arm and a leg on infrastructure and everything else like that.
And you can help with the infrastructure, and you have builders and guys, fabricators and stuff that you work with that you can bring in for your customers and do the whole package.
Yeah. So we've got a full build team that are on-site builders, from joiners, electricians, plumbers that will come in and obviously do all of that. We've got the CAD design team, which they will do all the designs. That will be fully rendered as if you're building a house, and you'll be taken through the whole process. And then we've got experts that work within like high-performance storage spaces as well. We've got great connections within AMD for the data center aspect of it, as well as then obviously Micron and, you know, other board partners and other partners we've got for our hardware that we can all sit around, and then we build all of that into one really nice package for the client to be able to utilize and take full advantage of.
Brilliant. So that's excellent, and really exciting times ahead, and I feel really lucky that we're part of this journey with you now and look forward to the rest.
No, I'm glad that you guys are on board with it. You know, it's one of those where it's hard for big companies like yourself to obviously overlook kind of the smaller company in terms of, and a lot of what we do is built on this could happen, this might happen, you know, but what we're trying to do is turn that if but maybes into it will happen and it can happen, and making that work. And I'm really happy that you guys are on board with that and you support my dream of what I want to do.
The credibility of breaking all these records and putting the UK on the map, that helps, right? Because we can see what you're doing.
Massively. And, you know, I think, you know, America's dominated that kind of space, and you know, I think you've got obviously big companies now in the UK that are starting to move in with the AI sovereign cloud space, and, you know, I think there is a market for the UK to be able to take over a lot of that HPC, and, you know, I think if we can come at it from an angle that's quite unique, and especially with us being a company that manufactures everything in the UK, I think is quite rare. You know, there's not that many companies that can do that, and I think that's what gives us obviously a nice cutting edge, and keeps us on our toes really. But
brilliant. Well, to the future, and thanks so much for having us. It's been a pleasure to
I really appreciate you coming down.
We really appreciate you.
I look forward to working with you moving forward. Definitely.
Good stuff. Thanks
big
things.
Big things.
Well, that's a wrap on our tour of Sytronix. We've had a really good day. We found out a lot about what these guys are doing, and it's been some really, really interesting stuff. So we're looking to do a bit more of this and showcase the partnerships that we've got with our brands that we work with the partners that we work with. So hopefully there'll be more of this content to come. We hope you enjoyed it.